Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your head.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard. To think really hard.
And a happy Monday to you all too. TGIM. Welcome to the IRONWORX right here on freeworld.fm. Now I know Walter was here just a second ago, although he seems to have disappeared. And I do see Zachary here, but I have yet to hear him. So for all I know, it may just be me and you guys hanging out this morning. But welcome. We've managed to make it through the weekend. I hope you've all survived Black Friday. Now that it's Cyber Monday, I guess you're safe. Nice quiet weekend for myself. I was down at my father's for Thanksgiving and the actual part of Black Friday. So if you have to spend Black Friday anywhere, I suggest you do it way the fuck out in the woods. That's the place to do it.
Can you hear me now?
There, now I hear you. Because I thought I heard you just a second ago. Just a blip. How you doing, sir?
Yeah. Not too bad.
Skype giving you trouble?
Woke up and I was just like, not cold in the house, but I could feel it was cold outside. I don't know how that works, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah, we had I don't think we got higher than the 40s yesterday. That was a little chilly for me.
Yeah, it's a little chilly. That's where we are. I don't think we're going to get much above 40 today.
Yeah, I don't like this time of year. Like right after all the leaves fall on the ground and it starts getting like colder. I guess I could be complaining. I could be up in Chicago right now or something like that.
That's true.
Well, Chicago fixed their immigrant problem. Did you see?
No, I didn't. How'd they do that?
Oh, they just gave everybody tents and let them sleep out on the concrete. So now they're all leaving. They're like, fuck this. I can go be poor back in the, right along the equator.
Uh-huh. I could be poor and warm.
Yeah. Not freezing to death. Yeah, it gets cold up there in Chicago, and it's that time of year where it's starting to, they had snow and everybody was freaking out. What is this? Albino brain chiggers. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Walter. I saw him in there, and then all of a sudden it was just like, would you?
Yeah, he even came on. We mic checked and everything. Guess he just said, fuck it. But for those of you who did not hear it, the announcement on Friday, because I did manage to just barely make it home after Thanksgiving. On Black Friday, I did get the computer purchased. So it is purchased, and the order is processing, it says. So I don't get the impression they're necessarily custom building each one, but apparently it takes some time to process the order, and then it'll take some time to ship the order. But the computer has been purchased. So again, much appreciated. All you fabulous people who helped donate and help participate in the trivia for charity that Walter and I participated in. That was a good time.
Well, awesome sauce, man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
What kind of graphics card does it have?
It's got the 4070 Ti with
Dang.
12 gigs of onboard RAM.
Nice.
Yeah, so that should be good. And the computer's coming with 32 gigs of RAM there, and it is upgradable to, I think, like 128. But that's a couple $100, probably a little bit further down the road. Yeah, Liz, I can't wait to hear improved everything as well. Although I will say that I was doing some fumbling around here in the studio and was getting stuff set back up, and now the soundboard sounds and runs better. I'm not quite sure how that all works. But the sound coming through is a little bit clearer in my headphones. I don't know if you all can tell the difference, but I certainly noticed a difference today versus Friday and every other day for the last few weeks. So that's odd. It's also not the right soundboard. Somehow I loaded up the wrong one. That's why I didn't have any of my Case of the Monday sound bites, because they're not on this particular playlist.
Case of the moon. Oh.
See if I can't find it. It's got to be somewhere. Got to be one of these untitled files.
There's that dude. I know that guy.
There he is.
I wish I did.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, man.
It's going to be one of them days, is it?
Oh, dude. It's been one of those weekends.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. 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 Saturday. Well, late Friday, Michelle was like, well, we could get up early and go tomorrow because whatever. Some store that does crafty things is having some kind of sale, and she needs.
I think the cat might have stepped on your keyboard there, Walter.
Involved, and we went to some. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you just cut out there for a sec.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, like right. Kind of what's going on. Saturday, car died in the parking lot.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Couldn't crank, just dead. Nothing, no jump, nothing. So her son, who usually works on our car, you know, called him at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Finally at 10 o'clock, we found out he had been at a friend's house celebrating and had been drinking. So he couldn't drive to Lafayette. So we wound up staying there for the night at her sister's, which is always, you know, physically backbreaking for me in their bed we sleep in. We got up Saturday, and it was an all-day affair of getting to the starter and finding out it was a $400 starter. Just fun for the weekend. And then finally got home late last night, and in the midst of trying to get a shower and blah, 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 the cats knocked my glasses off the desk. I mean, the counter sometime or another, and as soon as I stepped out of the shower, I stepped directly on my glasses.
Oh.
So, it's been a fun weekend for me. And now my internet keeps going in and out. I just saw it, go to the little red, no, there's no internet thing, and it's on. I've reset it twice now. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Anyway, I'm here. I'm no bitching. It's all good. I made it. I'm here. We're home.
We made it.
We
Yeah.
made it. That's all I can say.
400.
Exactly.
That's crazy, dude. It's like $20 worth of parts.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. And what was very frustrating is when you would look up the part at different sites, it would show you this nice $100, $60, $80 until you go click in. And then that one's not around anywhere. And that one's not the right one. And yeah, so after about 8 different calls to different parts places, I was like, Really? Okay. Whatever. Merry Christmas. Hey, assholes.
Real lucky, like knock on wood and everything, but yeah, I've heard that car parts are not the same as they used to be. It's like hit or miss now. It used to be, if we don't have it, we'll have it to you here in an hour or two, you know? We'll get it from another store or something and have it here, no problem. Now it's, oh, we can have that in a couple days, or you might want to go somewhere else. What? And it's not regional. I've heard all kinds of people having issues getting their parts and stuff like that. Yeah, hardware stores, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. In fact, that night when it happened, Saturday night, I was thinking it possibly could be the terminals not making a good contact because we weren't getting anything. And that had happened before on that car, before the terminals had been changed out. But of course, in the car, we had no tools handy. And so I, because, you know, the wrench had been taken out over at this son's house and the socket set had gotten left at that son's. So just a whole no tools. So I walked across like this area we were in, the parking lot of this big multiplex mall area, strip mall area, to about 3 stores that at any point in time in the past you could have walked into and gotten at the very least a decent little channel lock pliers or a little small socket set or whatever, always, because I used to go to those same 3 stores when I was a manager at the arcade, because we had 2 of them in our mall, and I could go down there when I needed something to use. But yeah, that's not a thing anymore there either. Apparently all the multi-mercantile stores are so centered on Christmas now that that's it. That's all they have in their stores anymore. Every row, even the row that used to have hardware or used to have whatever, it's all Christmas now. Anyway, yeah. We got it. We got home. We're here. I'm blind, wearing my old glasses, but on the other side of that coin, luckily, knock on wood when they get here, I did order some glasses recently before the year's end because my insurance, you know, was ready to give me a pair. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So they'll be here in a couple of 3 days, and I should be okay by then, or between now and then, with this old pair. Even though it does feel like I'm underwater a little bit with this older pair. So I'm getting that woo feeling when I go walking around. I'm taller. That's how I feel. Like I'm a little bit taller than I was yesterday. Or maybe gravity's just fucked. That could be what's going on. I don't know.
Wow, dude. Okay, so Forbes.com. The Mandela Effect. A psychologist explains collective false memories. That might be the first time I've ever seen any major anything write the Mandela Effect out like that. That might be the first time. Wow. It goes through talking about Mandela, blah, 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 blah. Spent 27 years in prison, tale of resilience and hardship. Yet his compelling story is often distorted in collective memory, as many vividly recall Mandela's death in prison during the 1980s. He went on to become president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999 and passed away in 2013 at 95 years old. Despite these facts, many hold strongly to the belief that they remember Mandela had died in prison. This mind-boggling phenomenon, a massive collective belief in an event or fact that is not true, has been dubbed the Mandela Effect. Interestingly, this phenomenon has been observed extensively in different contexts. Wow. I can't believe this. I'm kind of blown away. I thought it was going to be, you know, a huge hit piece or something like that.
Draw me a link, man.
Okay. Okay, let me get to the link first. Okay. This is crazy. drop it in Skype, I guess.
Yeah, right here in the call. That's fine. Like I said, the computer's acting up, so yeah, at least it's on Skype. I can get to it on my phone if I have to. You know, now that you're saying this, it seems like I saw a story go by in my feed and did not click on it with the thinking that it would probably be a hit piece. I wonder if that's the one I saw go by. Thank you, sir. Wow, that is it, because I saw the Looney Tunes go by. That was what went by, is that. Yeah, and I just didn't click because I'm like, yeah, right, whatever, dude. Interesting. Go ahead, continue.
He goes on, how is it that our minds can convince us of having memories of events that never really happened? And how is it that a large group of people can all happen to share the exact same false memory? Here's what psychologists know about the Mandela effect. How our brain creates false memories. The Mandela effect is often agreed to be an example of false memory, a recollection that seems true in your mind, but in reality is either partially or entirely fabricated. While it sounds implausible that the mind is capable of lying to us in such ways, false memories occur frequently. Think of those times where you swear you turned the stove off, where you're sure you pressed send on that important email, you're positive you put in the carton of milk in your shopping cart, only to find that you never actually did. Now, this is a little different. A study published in Consciousness and Cognition explains how these false memories can happen through the self-memory system. Conceptual framework highlighting the connection between our sense of self and our memory. Episodic memory, autobiographical memory, and our portion of self-concept that guides information processing or the working self. Okay, they explain that our working self takes cues to build detailed memories based on the knowledge they bring up. This construct process happens in what is called the remembering imagining system, a mental space filled with recent memories and simulations of things that might happen soon. No. Our modern understanding of human memory challenges the idea that memories are always accurate. In fact, it's argued that all memories, to some degree, are false. Can research explain the Mandela effect? Okay, the Mandela effect comes into play when these constructions of recollections that feel authentic yet deviate from actual events happen at the collective level, where large groups of people recall the same baseless fact or event. See, I don't buy that. Almost everyone has played the classic family board game Monopoly. Upon being asked to describe Mr. Monopoly, the man on the cover of the box, many would describe an older gentleman with a cane, a top hat, and a monocle. However, not a single iteration of Monopoly has included him wearing a monocle. Yet countless people swear by this memory. Similarly, many will confidently recall the classic cartoon film series Looney Tunes, the series Sex and the City, and Darth Vader's classic line, "Luke, I am your father." In reality, the show is spelled Looney, L-O-O-N-E-Y, Tunes, or Tunes, T-U-N-E-S, not T-O-O-N-S. The series is called Sex and the City, and the line goes, "No, I am your father." But well, at least they're throwing some of them in there. Okay, does the Mandela effect go beyond memory and psychology? In various fields that work with the mind, it is well known that memory is fallible. It fades over time, it makes mistakes, and it cannot always be trusted. This agreed understanding allows us to make sense of false memories. However, the phenomena of collective false memories seems to extend beyond the knowledge of psychology and neuroscience. Okay. In alignment with most research on the Mandela effect, the above study from psychological science concludes that we cannot know for certain why large groups of people share these fabricated memories. This gap in knowledge has led people down various paths in an attempt to understand it. Some studies argue that it is the cause of some kind of glitch in the matrix. Delving into the connections between the Mandela effect, simulation theory, and parallel worlds. Others still maintain it's a classical example of false memory, just at a very large and inexplicable level. But as it stands, the Mandela effect seems to be one of the quirks of the mind science just can't yet explain. And in conclusion, the Mandela effect remains a perplexing enigma, challenging the limits of our understanding. It defies conventional explanations, leaving a profound mystery in its wake, and research on the matter merely scratches the surface of its inexplicable nature. Attempts to grasp its essence seems only to have led to conspiracy-like theories hitting at uncharted territories lying beyond the scope of current scientific comprehension, standing testament to the mind's capacity for peculiarities that continue to elude our grasp. Okay, it got kind of iffy there in the middle, but then I think they wrapped it up nicely there at the end, saying, yeah, you know, psychology just can't really answer some of this. I thought it was not a bad article, actually. I'm going to share that one with Brian. What do you think about it, Walter?
I mean, you know, like you said, it had some good. Kind of like they were just covering themselves in case, you know, like you have to do. Hang on a second.
Still a little more of a hit piece, though. At the end there, they kind of brought it back around to, yeah, there possibly could be something here, maybe. I'm sure he's already got it. Yeah, I've never seen him speak like that about Mandela before. That kind of blew my mind. And Forbes. See, and on the Looney Tunes, it's spelled Tunes on the picture they share. I remember being TOONS, though.
That's just your mind.
I thought it
It's
was
always
both.
been tunes because of Merry Melodies being where it all started with Paul Ising, Robert Ising. It's been a long time. But when I was a kid, it was one of the first things I noticed was that we went from Merry Melodies to Looney Tunes. And it was just a continual theme of the music because most cartoons were musical driven in the early.
Was it not both? I thought it was like the cartoon was Looney Tunes, and then you'd have this like musical interlude, and that was the Merry Melodies and the Looney Tunes.
Always TUNES. Promise.
Right, and always fucking Berenstain. I hear you.
I'm just saying. I was very musical. As a kid. There was also one, let me think, what was it called? I'll have to look it up. Hang on.
So the biggest...
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm looking up things.
Yeah, there's a new... What do they call it? Pathfinder 1. It's like a new type of Hindenburg. It's the biggest dirigible since the Hindenburg. It uses helium for lift and electric motors for propulsion. Now, am I correct? Helium is not flammable?
I don't know.
So we shouldn't be having enough
Are you losing?
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. We lost. You cut out a little bit there.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I'm not on.
Unless it's me.
It might have been me. So, what'd you hear?
Silly Symphonies. That was the other one. I finally found it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I know if I didn't get this out, it would never get back to it. Sorry. But yeah, Silly Symphonies, Looney Tunes, and Merry Melodies. I'll go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, I was just looking up to see if this was flammable, but I don't think it is. Non-flammable helium, and then use them to transport tons of cargo hundreds of miles efficiently and cleanly. Blah, blah, blah. In 2015, he founded the startup. Blah, blah, blah. A 400-foot-long airship prototype. Carbon fiber skeleton and ultralight synthetic cover. This made it the largest aircraft since the 800-foot-long Hindenburg to be cleared for test flights. Been at it for about 10 years, he said. The license expires in September 2024, so it's got 10 months to test its massive airship. So for the first test, it will be close to the ground and tethered to a mast. And then they're going to take it out over San Francisco Bay eventually. This is cool. I'm all about airships.
Yeah, I know. I like that idea myself. So not to beat a dead horse, it was really in the 80s before tunes were called tunes. I know that sounds ludicrous, but I can remember in Roger Rabbit when they were talking about it and saying tune and all that. It's like, well, duh, why don't they have been called cartoons all this time? It's, I don't know, one of those things. I'll have to stop beating this dead horse now. I'm trying to find out when, let me see, when tunes became a word.
And which tune are you referring
The
to?
term was popularized in '88 during the live animated blah 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 Roger Rabbit, and then in the '90s the Tiny Toon Adventures. All right, I'll stop.
Ooh, Harvard's under fire for helping elite skip the queue. What does that mean?
That means that if you are an elite family, then your children, when they go to Harvard, don't have to necessarily wait in line. They just get that admission right into Harvard. Would be my guess. I don't know. I'm just maybe pulling stuff right out of my ass, but that's what it sounds like.
I think you're pretty close. So Harvard University is facing a crisis after the landmark court case exposed how it gives the relatives of alumni a leg up. Its so-called legacy admissions policy is now in the crosshairs of lawmakers who say it perpetuates inequality.
What nonsense. That's been going on. That's like at every single college. Why are you pointing your fingers at Harvard?
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't alumni like a part of every college? And that's like a big part of it is, oh, you're going to get in because I went there, blah, 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 blah.
That's exactly how I got in to where I went. My aunt was an alumni. I didn't even have to take a test or have scores or any of that. So,
like my nephew, his grandma, my sister's husband's mom, is a professor at one of the local colleges, and he gets pretty well a free ride because she's a professor there, and you know, it just trickles down that way. That's how it works. It's how it's always worked as far as I know. Damn you, Harvard. making shit easier, making it harder for the poor, dumber people. It's not necessarily dumber.
So, I guess earlier this year, it said a landmark Supreme Court decision dismantled affirmative action, making it illegal for Harvard and other universities to give admission preferences to underrepresented minorities.
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
Yeah,
Dude, that made me laugh so loud I may have gotten Michelle awake with that one. Oh, that was great.
yeah, the policy known as legacy admissions is practiced by dozens of elite American universities, including the 8 schools in the Ivy League, as well as many other private and elite public universities. Yeah, it means if a close relative attended that university, then you might be preferred to an applicant of similar strength whose parents did not. Yeah, I mean, that's been going on forever.
It definitely has.
Isn't that the
I
eugenics?
showed them, though, with my demonic artwork. Anyway.
And that sounds like just that whole elitist survival of the fittest. We're just better. So because we come from a better family, it just assumed that we'd be better than the people that come from a poor family. So we'll just go ahead and slide them in so that we can make better the better people.
Well, I didn't know this. So in 2023, Harvard charged $54,000 a year in tuition, but it is free to students whose families earn below $65,000. And families earning up to $150,000 pay no more than 10% of their income each year.
It seems like a pretty...
Wow. I find that hard to believe.
I don't. It's great policy. I wonder,
Well, yeah,
wonder
but
how many of those students actually fall into that category, though. How many of those
Yeah.
are they letting into the college versus the ones that are paying full price?
Well, yeah, when mommy and daddy went to school there, then if you're going to go to school there, most likely mommy and daddy have the money to pay for it. Goes on talking a lot about the affirmative action and okay, many scholars have traced the roots of legacy admissions to the beginning of the 20th century when universities wanted to keep their institutions beyond the reach of the country's growing immigration population. While times have changed and Harvard has made a commitment to greater diversity and equity, legacy admissions remain. In defending the practice, the school said it helps to cement strong bonds between the university and its alumni. Okay. This article keeps going on. I've noticed I'm not getting the sense that any of the articles I've looked over today have been AI. I think the writers thing, I don't know.
See, I think that what was the one you just did? Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Was at least in part AI, I think. One of the reasons it was so balanced would be my guess. I think.
Yeah, because you notice that when you get a writer, you get a lot more of that animosity towards one side or the other.
Mm-hmm.
That was really balanced.
It's very like insidious almost, the subtlety of the input, or not input, or adhering to. There's a word, my brain is too sleepy and hurting to figure it out right now. But as the AI takes over, it's very subtle in some ways. Like I noticed over like right after Thanksgiving, and I started kind of looking for a few things that I had wanted to get that were a little pricier for Michelle. And so started looking at some of the sites and looking for the best plays or the best version. So reading reviews. And I'll notice as you get to the review area at the bottom of the site, usually of the page for the item, whatever, right at the top of the reviews, there's this summary of everybody's fucking review. Every review in that whole, like, 800 people has been summarized by AI into this nice little tight paragraph. The users like the ease of access and the blah, 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 and all that. And sure enough, you go through and read the few of the actual reviews, and that's tends to be the consensus. I don't know, just as that kept happening over and over and over, it was like, wow, as helpful as this is, it sure is telling of how this stuff is just creeping into every aspect of what we're doing online. How many of those reviews were written by AI?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And when you look at some of this stuff, like these AI writers and all of the different templates and things that you can have them write for, like Amazon products. You need a product description? Tell me what you got. I'll pump you out a description. I mean, it's just a strange time for sure.
For you.
Yes. For me. But I guess it is that time. I guess we could take a little musical break and I could go get some more half-calf coffee. Which just doesn't seem to cut it as I struggle to pull the term Mandela effect out of my brain. Like, how hard should that be?
So what are we going with?
Well, I had one picked out.
Here, okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, well, here's my question. At what point are we going to start playing some Christmas music before Christmas gets here?
Maybe some Bing.
What happened?
Maybe some Bing Crosby.
I have some interesting new Christmas music. Not right now. I'll have to go dig it up. I'll get it to you, whatever. But yeah.
Just by the way you said it.
Well, the way I grew up, you know, just like everybody, with Bing and Perry Como and Frank and, you know, the whole crew there. So as that became something I had heard a bazillion times, I began to seek out different Christmas music. There were quite a few amazing guitar-driven instrumental versions of Christmas songs that have come out over the years that I loved, but, you know, it didn't create as peaceful an atmosphere in the car ride as I had hoped with the screaming guitars and whatever. And then there were the actual metal Christmas versions of songs. What was it? Twisted Christmas came out a few years back, and it was pretty much standard Christmas fare from that point on for my metal family. But Michelle was, you know, being very tolerant and bearing through it. Well, this last new Christmas album I just found, she found when I put it on Saturday on our trip to Lafayette, she was like, oh, wow, you finally got the Christmas album I can listen to with you. So it's coming. I'll find the song in a minute.
All right. Well, until then, I'll just go with the one I originally picked, only because it's 3 minutes and 52 seconds, and the one I was almost getting ready to play was only 2 minutes and 32 seconds. So I'm going to take a little break, puff a smoke, grab some coffee, maybe throw on a shirt, do whatever. Till then, you guys sit back and enjoy some of this.
You didn't tell me we're doing shirts and skins this morning.
Oh, every morning. You know it. This is the IRONWORX, freeworld.fm. Little Sturgill Simpson, living the dream.
Time and time again, Lord, I've been going through the motion, It's a means to an end. It don't seem to be. Walking around, living the dream. Anytime I take a notion, till the truth comes bubbling up so bittersweet. There's no point in getting out of bed when you ain't living the dream. I can make a big old pot of coffee with you ain't got no cream. I don't need to change my strings, cause the dirt don't hurt the way I sing. Oh, you don't have to do a goddamn thing. Sit around and wait to die. Well, I've been waiting on a name waitress. Come and take my order. Tell me all about the special day. Staring at a puddle of mud in my spoon, putting me much border. Open them circles on the paper, don't call back telling me to start today. That old man upstairs, oh, he wears a crooked smile, staring down on the chaos he's created. He said, son, if you ain't having fun, it's just a bad little while. Mama's gonna wash it all away. She thinks mercy is overrated. Ain't no point getting out of bed when you ain't living the dream. I can make a big old pot of coffee with you ain't got no cream. I don't need to change my strings, cause the dirt don't hurt the way I sing. Oh, I don't have to do goddamn thing. Sit around and wait to die. Oh, I don't have to do goddamn thing. Sit around and wait to die.
Yeah, I gotta say, that is definitely one of my favorite Sturgill Simpson songs. Welcome back to the Ironworks right here, freeworld.fm. Walt, Josh, and Zack hanging out with you this morning.
And Rizzo.
And Rizzo. And to be fair, I suppose Evie's here in the room with us too. We've had to put a fitted sheet over the top of her X-Pen because she has taken to attempting to jump out over the gate. And Benny has learned how to, so our two smallest bunnies are the ones that will jump out over the X-Pen and get out. So now we're hyper vigilant about that because we don't want Shibby to get a snack. Not even for a Shibby snack.
Wow. Yellowstone grizzly bear.
A Yellowstone grizzly bear?
712 pounds. I can't even grasp that idea. You know, it's not really that big of a number, 700. But 700 pounds, how much that actually weighs? You're not moving that bear. At all. Just think how strong you have to be to carry around that kind of weight. Oh man, those bears, they're something else. So the 6 distorted realities of struggling adult children.
Yeah, I saw that story go by too, and I was like, I'm good. But go ahead, I'm willing to hear it. But I did laugh when I saw that title.
I'm willing to let you read it.
Adult children. Huh. Escapism, technology overuse, substance abuse, or other distraction. Some adult children struggle to live in reality due to several factors, including a lack of life skills. Enabling behavior from parents can hinder an adult's personal growth and recovery. Addressing these issues can require a multifaceted approach, including practical skill development. So, struggling adult children who do not seem to live in reality may exhibit a range of behaviors and attitudes that indicate a disconnect from the practical aspects of life.
You mean like I'm a cat?
Yeah.
You mean like the penis fairy's coming tomorrow?
They're called homosexuals nowadays, Walt.
As I see from coaching parents trying to help their adult children who struggle to thrive, stop calling them adult children. That is the biggest oxymoron I've ever heard in my life.
They're just do it. Use the word. Just fucking say it. You know what it is. You call them adult children. You know what the word is. You can use stunted. You can use all other sorts of words, but we all know what the word really is.
Liberal.
Retard.
Retard. Their dysfunctional beliefs can manifest in various ways, and it's often a complex interplay of psychological, social, and environmental factors. Some struggling adult children may have mental health challenges such as depression, anxiety, or other psychological disorders that can affect their ability to engage with reality.
Because they never learned how to cope with reality. Because their maturation has been retarded.
These conditions may affect motivation, decision-making, and overall functioning. Here are some areas of divergent reality for struggling adult children. Dependency issues.
Like living at home until they're 25?
What?
Like living at home until they're 25?
Yeah.
That sort of dependency issue?
Yeah. They struggle to live in reality due to financial dependence on their parents or others.
See?
They might resist taking on responsibilities and making necessary life decisions because they rely on others to meet their needs.
Oh, that's how I was till I was like 30.
One of my clients sought my help to manage his unhealthy guilt, which caused him to keep supporting his 28-year-old son, Josh, who chose to quit new jobs after and therefore had no the value of the dollar. It was the last straw for my client when Josh said, "Dad, if you even cared one bit about me, you'd step up and buy me a new guitar because my music is going to make me famous. And when I'm famous, your sorry ass will regret not supporting my dreams." Right. Did you ever have that conversation, Walter? You're not supporting my dreams.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, my mom was, treated me enough like a human being to tell me, "Zach, you're never going to play in the NBA. You're a 6-foot white person. Deal with it. You're not going to be in the..." That's what my mom told me. "You're not going to play professional sports. You're not." And I know that may sound horrible, but that's reality. I am not physically inclined to, I don't think, play any type of professional sport. No. Even when I was younger, I don't think, no. It's called reality. And yes, you want your children to aspire and reach for dreams and goals and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But make them practical. You know, like this young man saying he's going to be a famous musician one day. Okay, possibly, but most likely no, you're not. That's just what works. It's like hitting the lottery. Okay, emotional dependence. Emotional reliance on others, especially parents, can also contribute to a lack of engagement with reality. This can result in avoiding challenges or making decisions independently. An adult child I know of struggled to create healthy intimacy with her boyfriend due to her almost constant texting and calling of her mother for reassurance across most aspects of her life. Excessive fear of failure. Some adult children may fear failure to such an extent that they avoid taking risks or making decisions altogether. This fear can be paralyzing and prevent them from facing the realities of adult life. For example, another client had an adult child who was afraid to pursue any kind of job. They had a fear of not being able to handle anyone telling them what to do. Right.
So, okay. I was raised by quite the stern father with quite a large belt. And that being said,
you need to be told twice.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What?
I just said, how many times did you need to be told twice?
Right. And how much whining did I do to his ass about anything for all the good it would do? Right. What I'm trying to get to is, at what point did the lack of parenting become
okay?
Not just okay, but like parenting now gets you in trouble. You know what I mean? What the fuck? I mean, I get that's part of their agenda, and I get all the, like, you know, whatever. What was it? The TV? Was it like happening in school, and I just suddenly missed it? It wasn't happening in my school, because when you got sent to Miss Mott's office, she proceeded to grab the paddle with the air holes drilled in it, and you knew it was going to be a bad day. I don't know, and I get that, you know, whatever, like, spoil the ride, blah, blah, blah. Abuse, and I get all these ideas, but there are ways to parent that isn't abuse, and there are ways to parent that does raise a child who can function in society, because I did it. I don't know. I'm probably ranting here because this is such a big thing, because I watch, you know, the things that my grandchildren are exposed to and just allowed to be part of, and it just makes my brain want to explode out of my head. So I don't know. I'll start ranting. There's really nothing else but me just saying, what the fuck here.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, two parents in the workplace now. There's so many families that rely on this, and there is no, you know, my mom worked not because she had to, but because she wanted to. And it was never, well, when I was young. She worked because she wanted to go work, and she'd work maybe a couple nights a week at like Toys R Us during Christmas to make extra money for Christmas, stuff like that. But I always had my mom there to tell me no, to, you know, to lay down the law. And then if I didn't,
it was, all right, go ahead.
Home with the belt, then you know, there was always that something to worry about. If you didn't do what was expected of you, what your mom expected, then there's going to be issues when Dad got home. That's just how it was. And I was never.
And it was the neighborhood too involved. Like, I got not a beating, but I got spanking by, you know, a mom here, a dad there when I was acting wrong at their house. And that went the same way at my house. I watched my mom tear into Darren because he put dirt all in my sister's hair and eyes. And it was just expected that your children were going to be not just watched over, but dealt in the correct way of don't act like a dumbass so you can get your ass beat. I don't know. And I know it sounds terrible saying it that way. And then, if that happened today, there'd be 8 lawsuits, cops would be there. It would be a whole thing. It was just expected that everybody in the neighborhood were taking care of the kids. That's why we could be sent out at here's breakfast. See you at lunch.
Hey,
okay, here's lunch. Don't come back till the fucking street lights come on. And that's what we did. We wait. Oh God, the lights are on. Let's go. I don't know. I guess I just don't understand the transition. I don't understand how it flipped so easily for so many people, because I didn't let it flip from my son. I don't know.
Yeah, it was almost like a collective decided we're no longer going to raise our children this way. Like it was socially programmed somehow.
It's generational trauma. I think that's this whole programmed of trauma response. We're going to traumatize the entire public in certain ways, and they're going to respond in ways that we've already figured out and decided. So we know that if we create this trauma and introduce this certain stimuli, we can start to guide this trauma response into a certain direction. But what do I know? I'm no fucking sociologist, but that sure as fuck what it seems like.
Okay, moving on. We got unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations about life, success, or relationships can lead to disappointment and a refusal to accept one's actual circumstances.
In other words, just deal with what we give you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't expect anything more.
This can result in a distorted view of reality. Josh, unrealistic expectations about becoming a star musician by engaging in far more fantasizing than practicing. Falls into this category as well. They're picking on you in this article, Josh.
Story of my life. That's why I can never do anything.
They're all going to laugh at you. Escapism in struggling adult children often manifests as a coping mechanism to navigate the challenges and pressures of adulthood. Whether facing financial difficulties, relationship issues, or professional setbacks, individuals may resort to various forms of escapism, such as excessive use of entertainment, substance abuse, or retreat into fantasy worlds. While seeking temporary relief, it's crucial for these adult children to address their underlying issues and develop healthier coping strategies to foster long-term resilience and personal growth. That one seemed like it was written by AI. I don't know. Enabling behavior. And I see a lot of this. So much of this now. Not so much with the children that I know. Like, Karen doesn't put up with shit.
What?
Just Jack doesn't put up with shit.
Must be somebody else, because Karen B's a pushover.
Yeah. So ask her children how much of a pushover she is. No, these, the same way she is online, that, up front, tell it how it is attitude. That's how she talks with her children. She doesn't sugarcoat things, and, don't get me wrong, she's a great mom. When her child got a scratch on their knee, she would take care of it. But as they're getting older and they're trying to use this type of stuff, enable me, mom. Nah, you need to go bark up another tree. Same with Just Jack. They lay down the law. This is what's expected of you. You don't do it, there's going to be consequences.
And I think that's a result in maturation. I don't get the impression that Karen B was always the way she is now. I don't get the impression that she always just spoke up and said whatever the fuck she felt, regardless of how somebody felt like it. I get the impression that once upon a time she was a bit of an enabler, and she found herself in relationships that were unhealthy. And it took that maturation and learning how to stand up for herself and draw those boundaries and say, look, enough is enough. And once she learned how to stop enabling, then she would mature and grow and gain that wisdom. But some people don't. Some people can just live there. I did.
Yeah, I never met Karen before. So I've only known her since Flat Earth. And she's definitely been Warrior Karen since I've known her.
And I think she's talked about her previous relationships, which is the only reason I bring it up. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say that little bit that I did say. You can go back and search her channel and find everything on the YouTube channel, Karen B, and catch up with some of the shit she's had to go through.
Tough chick, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to wrap it up, the final thoughts. Addressing these issues often requires a multifaceted approach. It means you got to pay them lots of money, including emotional support, practical skill development, mental health intervention, and sometimes tough love to encourage responsibility. I think the last one, if you just give them some tough love, throughout their young life, it doesn't have to be constant, tough love every day, but just tough love here and there. It kind of gets them used to that whole idea that, guess what, everybody, life isn't fair. I learned that at a very young age when I would tell my mom, that's not fair. Starting at like 5, 6 years old, she'd be like, sweetie, life's not fair. You need to get used to it. That may sound horrible to tell a child, but when you think about it, it's true.
Why would that be horrible to tell a child? Because you want to instill fairness and an understanding of fairness in that child, but why? Life ain't fair.
That's just one of the truths of this place.
Mm-hmm.
And the sooner you learn it, the better off you are, I think.
And I think it's one of those great lessons in life. If you can learn to be fair in a world that has no fairness, then you are that light in the darkness.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it, Josh.
I need that on a fucking t-shirt.
Well, it is past the top of the hour. Are we going to do another song?
It is.
Did you find it?
Yeah. Okay. So, y'all are so tired of hearing me talk about this guy. I know. Mark Tremonti's daughter was born with Down syndrome a few years back, right as the pandemic began. It caused him to look at life a bit differently. One of the things he did was he decided to step outside his comfort zone and do a whole album of Sinatra covers, one of which I shared with you guys not too many weeks ago. Well, this year he's taken it to a new place and again challenged other artists to step outside their comfort zone and do something that they normally wouldn't be thought of as doing, and it all goes to the Down syndrome charity. There's probably a better name for that. I'll find it and give it to you in a minute. This year it is Christmas. And when I say Christmas, it is pretty much as traditional as you can get for most of it. Now, he did record it again with Sinatra's surviving band members who have just like literally fallen in love with Tremonti's versions of Sinatra to the point that they have toured with him and done another album. And this song that we're about to hear is called Christmas Morning by Mr. Tremonti. And what this is an original Christmas song that he has written. And there's also a video, which I will drop in the chat. We are on the radio, so it'll be a little difficult to show a video, but definitely watch the video. It is done in the old claymation style. It's like you're back, you're 8 years old watching whatever, Rudolph or the Drummer Boy or whatever. But yeah, it is Christmas Morning by Mark Tremonti, and dropping the video. Here it is, and also in Free World.
What's your favorite Christmas song, Walter?
Oh, Holy Night. Oh, Holy Night has like been one of my favorites for years. It's just something about that arrangement, the vocals, the power and the passion it takes to hit those high notes. In fact, he actually attempts it himself. I was quite blown away that a man that sings baritone like he does would even try to do Oh Holy Night, but he nails it. It's on that album as well.
I think my favorite would be The Little Drummer Boy.
See, that was my go-to favorite when I was like a kid, but once I heard Oh Holy Night and I was in choir and was learning to do it and all those things, it became my favorite. But yeah, dude, I still get chills when I hear Little Drummer Boy. In fact, I still have an ornament
My
from
best.
1968 that a lady gave me as a baby in my mom's arms because I saw this drum on her tree at this store, and she literally took it off the tree and gave it to my mom for me because I love the Little Drummer Boy so much. And it still goes on my tree every year.
When he plays, when they sing the part, I played my best for him. Dude,
Right, dude, you just gave me chills. Right.
Every time I get chills. When I just got chills just saying it, thinking about it. Yeah. It almost brings me to tears every day. It depends on the artist. If they're really getting into it, it's probably going to bring a tear to my eye every time I hear that part. I'm a softie like that. But yeah, Little Drummer Boy, that's one of those that have always done it for me. And for some reason, I enjoy when females sing it better. Just, I don't know why.
Well, usually, Oh Holy Night is best performed by a really amazing, female vocalist, that high range. But like I said, he even does it on the album as well. Uh-oh, come on, baby, get down. I'm having trouble with my cat here. She keeps getting up on the keys. Crazy.
We have started Christmas, folks.
Uh-oh. I'm getting echoes. You having trouble, Josh? Uh-oh, did we lose Josh?
You're getting echoes?
There you are.
That's strange.
Here you are, Josh. Nice. Big Pine says his neighbors bought him a brand new lawnmower because he helped mow their lawn.
Oh, well, that's freaking awesome.
Beautiful. Reminds me of John Savage saying, why does everybody need a lawnmower? Why is there a lawnmower in everybody's garage when one lawnmower could do the whole block? Our Big Pine. What we got going on over there, Josh? You all right?
I was waiting on Walter to pull something up. I thought he was going to play some Christmas music.
Oh, no, I had told you the title, so I thought I can't play music. You know this. I am so sorry. Yeah, that's why I said Christmas morning about 8 times, so you'd be looking it up.
I thought you were
all on it,
talking
man. I'm sorry. I'm dropping the video, but I can't play it.
Nope,
I mean, I can't.
I can absolutely grab it.
Share music. Come on.
Not an issue.
Plus, I have a cat that keeps getting on everything. Come on, baby.
You need, what were we just talking about? You have to give him some tough love, Walter. Yeah, right.
Right. You know, they ain't no tough love with these cats. They own my house. They rule the roost, huh, sweetie? That's why they're on my keyboard right now. That's why they never had a water bottle on them for doing all that. Huh? Daddy never squirted her, huh? No. No.
That's my stuff.
She's a good girl. She's done now. I think she's moving on.
You.
What is she opened? Oh, she did open too many things here. What is this? Quillbot. Lord, I forgot I had Quillbot. How did she find that even to make it pop up?
Is she ordering cat treats? Oh, snap. Bezos beats Musk to Mars as NASA chooses Blue Origin to launch mission. Ba-ba-ba-bum. NASA announced Wednesday that it will send 2 scientific spacecraft to Mars aboard Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket in August of 2024. Right.
Looking forward to it.
Weren't they the ones that were going to send 2 astronauts around the moon back in 2017?
Something.
Still waiting on that? Blah, blah, blah. So Bezos is back in the mix.
Probably just a plainted story.
So because his rocket, Elon's rocket, blew up again in the second launch attempt. Well, the first one didn't blow up, did it? The first one supposedly did what it was supposed to. But since the second launch attempt blew up, the new timeline announcement is that they're going to be using Bezos's. And they actually named it Blue Origin New Glenn Rocket. Wait, John Glenn, he was the first one in orbit, right? I'm thinking of the one they killed on Apollo 1. What was his name? Gus Grissom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gus Grissom is the one who was saying how this is a joke and how we can't even talk to each other in the same buildings, going from one building to another. There ain't no way this thing's going to the moon.
Hanging lemons on his rearview mirror.
Yeah, hanging a lemon on the lander, and then he got blown up on the launch pad. Wow. Wonder what Elon has to say about that. So are we ready?
We're ready.
Nice.
We are set and ready. Little Mark Tremonti from a Christmas album. So if you want to blame somebody, blame Walter. It is technically after Thanksgiving.
Nope.
We'll be right back. This is the IRONWORX. You're on freeworld.fm. There we go. Knew it was playing somewhere.
How nice it will be. Little dreamers waiting for Christmas. And now under the tree is a prize just waiting for me. In the morning the snow will be falling, and no, my lady and me will make sure our children believe in the glory of Christmas morning.
Christmas morning, Christmas morning, Christmas morning. Christmas morning.
Sing that last Christmas song. Hold on dearly, the moment is nearing, and know that it won't be long till the lights in our loved ones have gone. In the morning the snow will be falling, and know my lady and me will make sure our children believe in the glory of Christmas morning.
Christmas morning, Christmas morning, Christmas morning, Christmas morning.
Now together every moment we hold dear. Cherish all the memories that we've made throughout the years. Now we come together, hope we never drift apart. Closer more than ever, the best gift is in our heart. How nice it will be, little dreamers waiting for Christmas. And now under the tree is a prize just waiting for me. In the morning the snow will be falling, and oh, my lady and me will make sure our children believe in the glory of Christmas morning.
And welcome back to the Ironworks right here, freeworld.fm. That was an instant classic by Mark Tremonti.
And about as traditional sounding as it gets.
The bells and the chimes and all that good stuff.
The kid chorus, the whole thing.
Thank you, Walter.
Yes, that is the guy who wrote the riff for Metalingus.
So the moon is going to meet up with the seven sisters of the Pleiades tonight. That might have been last night, 21 hours ago. Yeah, the 26th. Today
I
is
know on our trip home last night, it was like so crazily low feeling, ultra bright. It was like a light was on over there. Like there was a light on over there, kind of feeling like in that room over there was a light. And the clouds above it were lit up. Clouds behind it were lit up. Shell even said, like, what's the deal? Why does the moon look so crazy tonight? I'm like, you got me. It feels like it's like right above us.
Extra bright. I was thinking the same thing. It was like 3/4 of a moon, and it was like a huge spotlight.
But it was super huge, right?
I'm like, there are full moons that aren't this bright, and how the fuck does that work?
Right. Right.
Yeah, on Glowbusters yesterday, we had Achilles 7 on the show, and he had his 14-inch telescope showing us live footage of Jupiter and Saturn and all kinds of cool stuff. But he actually came to the conclusion NASA was lying well before Flat Earth. And it wasn't, going through ISS videos and stuff like that. He had this huge telescope and was taking pictures and stuff and realized that, hey, how am I taking better quality pictures than the stuff I'm getting from NASA? And then realized that, things were off, focal lengths and stuff like that, and being able to focus on different things. Yeah, he came to the conclusion that NASA was lying to us about what's going on above our heads just by his own observations, matching them up with theirs. Really, really cool channel. Yeah, Achilles.
What was it again? Okay. I knew I had heard of it.
Earthrise. History uncovers the true origin of the image of the century. Earthrise from Apollo 8. Incredible first voyage to the moon. So Apollo 8 was only 8 months before Apollo 11. Dude, whatever.
It got good real quick, man.
Yeah, now it takes like 2 years in between attempts to do shit. They were on Apollo 8, and then 8 months later, they're on Apollo 11 landing people on the moon. What happened to the urgency, NASA? They've learned that we do it real slow. It doesn't matter if we do it today or in 2 years. Nobody cares. This is from Fool.com. The Motley Fool says, "Don't cry for SpaceX. The Starship test was a success." On November 18th, SpaceX blew up another Starship spaceship and its super heavy booster, but that's just the start of the story. It got to fly twice as long as last time in Saturday's test flight. At this point, regulatory delays may be the biggest obstacle to SpaceX doubling Starship's flight time all the way to 100% success.
So it sounds like they're learning to play Angry Birds.
Yeah.
We flung it twice as far. Yay!
Starship test launch ends in explosions. Starship launch failed minutes after reaching space, Reuters. Starship achieves liftoff and separation, but mishap results in loss of rocket, NBC. After launching from its pad near Boca Chica, Texas, SpaceX's booster exploded mid-flight about 3.5 minutes after takeoff. Less than 5 minutes later, the Starship experienced its own rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Apparently, in response to an onboard self-destruct command. What? So it was meant to blow up. We meant it to do that. Right. But that doesn't mean the mission was a failure. Far from it. Okay. When I go to bake a cake, right? I mix all the stuff up, I put it in the oven, I turn the oven on. Okay, so the oven goes out halfway through baking the cake and stops working. Is that a success? Am I gonna be eating cake? I'm sorry, when you say I'm gonna shoot a rocket up and it's gonna go around the moon and I'm gonna come back and bring it to Earth, and it doesn't, it blows up like right when it reaches space, supposedly space. That's not a success. That's like, who was it? Edison. I didn't fail. I figured out 2,000 ways not to make a light bulb. So is this one of those 2,000 ways not to fire a rocket? I mean, yes, you learn from your mistakes. You should. Everybody should. But to call this a success, I think is a bit of a stretch. Just saying.
Call back to the adult children.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you did so good. You almost got that job. Here's a cookie.
Well, at least now you know what you don't want to do.
At least you know that you won't get hired there now and you don't have to apply there anymore. I don't know. So yeah, that's the exact same thing, Josh. There's never a, you never have a mishap. As long as you learn from it. Oh no, it's still a mishap. And we learn from our mistakes. And you can learn from it, but that doesn't mean you have the right to call it a success.
Right. Then why not just continue doing things you know aren't going to work?
Yeah, and you always succeed.
I'm a winner.
the USDA, those good old folks, this is from Politico.com, is giving some farmers an ultimatum: grow hemp or marijuana. Regulatory inconsistencies has forced farmers in several states out of the industry. American farmers seized the opportunity to grow hemp after it was legalized in the 2018 Farm Bill, hoping the potentially lucrative crop could help keep their businesses afloat. But now the U.S. Department of Agriculture is revoking hemp licenses for some farmers who have also chosen, in states where it's legal, to grow hemp's federally illegal cousin, marijuana. Some farmers say the USDA's interpretation of federal law has yanked a financial life raft from under them. It was definitely a huge blow to our business, said Sam Bellavance, a cannabis farmer in Vermont, who had separate licenses to grow both marijuana and hemp before USDA rescinded the latter earlier this year. Estimates that he will lose at least $250,000 in revenue due to the license revocation. The inconsistencies between federal and state interpretations of the 2018 Farm Bill reflects the larger challenges hemp and marijuana farmers face in the emerging market, where two nearly identical agricultural products have very different legal statuses. Even though more than half of Americans now live in a state where adults can legally possess weed, wow, they call it weed.
Really? That's epic.
And second, under federal law, it continues to be classified as a highly dangerous drug with no medical applications, the same as heroin. Hemp industry officials complain that lack of legal and regulatory clarity from the federal government has scared off retailers from selling hemp-derived products and tanked the price of the crop. That's led farmers to dramatically reduce cultivation levels. In 2019, farmers planted 275,000 acres of hemp, but that plummeted to just 21,000 acres last year, according to hemp benchmarks. So from 275,000 to 21,000. That's a big cut. USDA moves to rescind hemp licenses is further roiling the market. It's just another example of the absurdity of keeping a substance for which now 55% of Americans live in a jurisdiction where it is legal, federally legal. And Tim Byron Fair, who founded the law firm Vermont Cannabis Solutions, says it's insane. Bellavance is just one of many farmers in at least two states, Vermont and Mississippi, who lost their hemp licenses this year after entering the state's regulated marijuana industry. Politico has earned. Another hemp grower in Missouri said USDA informed him in April 2023 that he would lose his hemp license if he applied to participate in the state's newly legal marijuana industry. So how is this any different than telling some farmer you can't grow corn and soybeans at the same time? I mean, really? Why is it they're not allowed to grow these two different types of plants?
Trying to keep supply in check. So they don't just saturate the market.
Okay, so here, in contrast, several state-run hemp programs, which are approved by USDA, have continued to license farmers who also grow marijuana under licenses from their state. So this seems more like a state thing than anything else. The USDA declined to answer specific questions about its decision to rescind certain hemp licenses, but a spokesperson said that the issue remains complicated by marijuana's federally illegal status. While the 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp production, marijuana remains a Scheduled I controlled substance under federal law, said USDA spokesperson Alan Rodriguez in a statement. This presents a unique jurisdictional and regulatory landscape that producers of more traditional agricultural commodities did not have to navigate. So decriminalize marijuana federally already. Okay, it doesn't make white women want to go have sex with black men. It doesn't make people take their clothes off and go running around out in the woods. Reefer madness is not real. Yes, if you don't smoke marijuana.
It doesn't make people start giggling like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, if you don't
Well, they
smoke.
surely don't sit down and play an instrument all crazy. Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. It really is.
I was thinking about that one anti-drug commercial, you know, where her friend is smoking pot and her friend is just like the deflated skin sitting there on the couch.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, she's just no more fun anymore. Oh, that's all she does. I'm like, that girl's probably going and dealing with and coping with some of her emotional trauma. She is sitting there thinking she's self-reflecting is what she's doing. And she's just boring to you. She's not entertaining me. We're not out having fun doing other things. She's just sitting there doing nothing. Well, there's probably a lot going on up there in that brain, which tends to be the case for stoners. Get stoned and think. Zone out. But it is about that time.
She doesn't want to go to the mall and shop anymore and like listen and talk to me about boyfriends and
I'm trying to gossip and she's ignoring me.
Rep guys, girlfriends. I don't know why I said that.
I know we're getting close to music again, and I believe there was a request I saw pop up. Let me go get it and
I've got
tell you what it was.
Don't
so
need
you
to.
have it.
I've
I
got
am slow today. Hey, baby.
And since I've already got it, we might as well go ahead and do the damn thing. So smoke if you got them. If you really need to, hop up and hit the head. We're going to take a little break. I got to top off my coffee. Maybe fill my waters for work. And
don't go anywhere. It looks like we have Phuket Word, Nick himself, who has just joined us. And we will get right back to him as soon as the song's over.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is really awesome. I miss Nick. All right. Stick around. This is The Siren by Nightwish, as requested by Liz, the Iron Maiden.
Going out to Cami.
Every
And welcome back. Second half of the second half, I suppose you could call it. So it's only about 22 minutes.
Not a bad jam.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Liz.
I almost went and ran into some rocks. I don't know why, but I had a sudden urge. Just needed to go crash somewhere.
Well, I believe we have been joined.
Yes, we have.
I'm trying to get back to my call here. Sorry, I've got cats flipping me around. There it is. Yes, Nick is still here. What's happening,
Yeah.
Nick? You doing okay,
Hi.
my friend?
I'm all right. Well, good to hear from you, man, and the rest of you, Josh and Zach. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you sound
Yes,
loud and clear.
absolutely.
Sweet. Good to be able to I just got back from a school run and you were on, so I thought, you're talking about the full moon, and I just thought you'd like to know that today is a really special day in Thailand. It's Loi Katong. So we're going to go out and float these floaty things made from banana tree stems, and they're kind of decorated and with incense and candles, and it's a yearly festival that's on the full moon of the 12th lunar month for the Thai lunar calendar. And it's rather a nice little event, really, because it's just, you get these lakes. Wherever there's a lake or a body of water, then people will gather there and they'll light the candles on their krathong, and they'll push it out into the water and make a wish. And it's basically to thank the water goddess. That's the idea behind it. And
In that region, Nick, I was just watching a documentary last night on some country that borders India and Nepal. It's up in the mountains. But they do the same thing. They follow the calendar. That's their actual calendar that they use. And they always have a festival the last month of the year, between January and March. It depends on when it falls.
So it'll be the full moon of that. Yeah. So April's pretty much, or the full moon around that time is the marks the new year.
Now, there are a lot of countries that at least maybe celebrate this. Maybe they don't have a lunar calendar anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a big celebration in that part of the world?
Yeah, I mean, especially the neighboring countries. So, Laos, Malaysia, Burma, or Myanmar, if you prefer. It's a bit of a kind of mixed thing there.
I think Myanmar. Is Myanmar up in the mountains?
Well, there are lots of mountains there, yeah. I have a friend who's fossil hunting and stuff up there, amber hunting.
And is that a country where they don't allow you to mountain climb? No, there's whichever country I was watching this documentary on. I'm going to have to go and watch it again. But they, in their belief, their cultural belief, the god live on their deities live up in the mountains, and it might to trespass on their property, on their land. So they don't even allow it's the only mountain over 20,000 feet that's never been climbed ever by anyone.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it might be Myanmar, where
they don't have tourists. Not until I think it was 2018 or something like that. They finally started allowing tourists in, but you still need a visa. The only way you can get into the country without a visa is to cross the border from India.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there are places here where it's really esoteric, because it becomes kind of almost physically impossible. There's always something that prevents people from getting up there. In fact, watching the Thai TV and documentaries, sometimes they don't even tell you where they are. There's these places which they always have a kind of a temple or a shrine, and it's and yeah, there was something I was watching the other day. Again, they didn't reveal where it was, but they found these stones, you know, kind of Stonehenge kind of type thing up this mountain, and they glow and they light up. And the belief there is that entities or whatever, or people are coming in from another realm through these stones. Yeah, they emit light at certain times. The locals have seen them light up, and
yeah, that's what Cami and I said right off. As soon as we saw that, I was like, okay, so what's up that mountain?
yeah.
What do they don't want people to be seeing that's up there?
Like I said, sometimes it's just, you could try. I mean, you could try and get up there, but there's just, you know, it's one of those weird things where people just never make it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if there isn't a path already, there's not many trailblazers out there anymore that are going to be going up mountains that you don't already have your path plotted out.
Right.
That's dangerous. Yeah. That's dangerous. That's like, there's a big difference between following the trail someone else has already made and trying to make your own trail.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the whole idea with the whole kind of Mount Meru and everything. It's basically, it's not, you can't get there unless you've reached that full enlightenment, and your whatever is you've kind of almost departed from this physical realm. You've become almost like a light being or something like that. I mean, yeah, that's very strong belief. Yeah.
How's everything else going out there, man? How's business? How's the country coming along?
How are the elephants doing?
They're good. I went to the place today. Everything's good there. I mean, as far as tourism goes, the economy, things are really getting back. You know what I was thinking? Actually, I mean, it's really weird. Thailand really has forever made this effort to stay at arm's length from Western influences. And I mean, even in the latest elections, basically anyone, I don't know if you know the history of, there was a while ago, there's been various coups and things like that, but I can't remember how many years ago it was now, but there was a particular prime minister who was booted out, and he's only just been able to return, but he's been allowed to return on condition that he's in a kind of, he's supposed to be in prison, but he's in a kind of like a hospital where he's not allowed to leave. But he was kind of, he had all these ties with the West. So of course, you know, they're friends with everyone, but they will not allow that takeover that often happens when you get in bed with the Western states.
Well, they probably know exactly what happened to Japan and see what.
Yeah.
So I bet there's a lot of countries out there in that part of the world that are like, yeah, we'll do business with you, we'll be nice, but as far as you influencing us and how we're going to live our lives, no.
That's right. Yeah, spot on, Zach. It's just like, yeah, they'll. So in some ways, I was thinking it's actually nice to be in this culture where, you know, they've gone back to weed is legal again now.
It was really like stringent there for a while, wasn't it? Like,
oh yeah,
it wasn't like a slap on the wrist. It was more like canes across the back type stuff.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was always a very dodgy thing. But yeah, all of a sudden, it's very bizarre for it suddenly to be just totally okay with all these shops cropping up all over the place. And
now, what is like? Does it have any place in the religion there?
No.
No.
No, it's not like the Indian, the Hindu guys that are taking away. So, I mean, it's considered a pretty kind of well, I suppose it's, I don't know, a low class thing, maybe, but actually, you know, it's obvious that a vast number of people do actually use it, considering the amount of shops that are around now have sprung up.
But it was
Yeah,
more
but
under the table. You didn't go around and talk about it, and
yeah, it's probably a bit like, I suppose, Amsterdam or something, where, you know, it's not like people are not, you don't see people talking on the streets or anything like that. It's just, keep it quiet still. Yeah.
From the kids, you know.
Yeah. But of course, these things that grow naturally, you know, there was, I think the whole legislation for marijuana was something that the US persuaded the Thais to do at some point. Again, this is why I'm talking about, you know, that has that relationship to the keeping at arm's length. I think it was something to do with the oil deals and things like that they made. And there was, at some point, it was the US that said, you've got to, if you want to do business with us, you have to criminalize marijuana. But obviously things have changed, and for some reason they aren't so dependent on the US anymore, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, are they, what is their central banking system? Do they use the dollar, or are they thinking about going BRICS way like so many other countries are?
Well, they've got the Thai baht, you know, and that's based on, the baht is actually a weight of gold. So, you know, it does have a gold standard, I suppose, in that sense. There's a vast amount of gold. A lot of it's in the temples and things like that. But yeah, I don't think it. I'm not sure how well if it's tied to any other particular currency.
That's kind of refreshing to hear. There's still places out there that, you know, they haven't got control of.
Yeah. It's when you think about it, it's like, wow, they've done it all that time because they had, you know, the Dutch and the Portuguese and all those guys that tried, you know, the French and the English. They all came along in their boats, their gunships and stuff. And like you say, it's a trade. Okay, you know, for example, Phuket was a massive tin mine. There's no more tin left in Phuket anymore. But during I think it was during the Second World War period, there was thriving tin industry here, and that was kind of, there were a lot of English kind of aristocrats and stuff involved in that. And in Phuket actually has this. It's called a heroine's monument. So the story goes that these two women dressed up as soldiers and got because they were fighting the Burmese at the time, and there was going to be this big Burmese invasion. But this Brit, what was his name? Sir Alexander Light, I think he was having some kind of relationship there. He was some kind of aristocrat or government connection with but he warned them that the Burmese were on the way. And of course, all the men were fighting somewhere else. And so these two women apparently got all the other women together and dressed up as male soldiers and kind of appeared on the coastline and apparently frightened off the Burmese invaders. So, you know, these two women are classified as the Phuket heroines. They saved Phuket from a Burmese invasion.
That's all.
But like all history, you know, it's open to interpretation, right? You know, I'm sure the history books have been written in a certain way. Yeah. But that's the official version. Yeah. So, I mean, so you ask how it's going. It's all good. I think it's really, it's interesting. Yeah, you know, because they're not making a big thing about the whole kind of marijuana thing, but obviously word gets out and people come here. But I don't think, you know, tourists are not necessarily coming here for that. There is an element, you know, and it's just whatever. But yeah, it's in that sense. Yeah, I think it's nice. They swallowed the kind of the pill when it came to the whole the Rona narrative. you know, as you know, I was locked out of the country, but that's all kind of gone now. Yeah, but it's like the more I've been thinking recently, I really should take on some kind of road trip where I go around the country. I mean, it's a massive country. It's like probably twice the size of the UK. I mean, I know it's not. It's probably not even as big as Texas or something. But yeah, there is so much. There are so many hidden, like you were saying, these hidden places where there's some kind of really wacky esoteric history. There are even there's a couple of places that have been unearthed, as it were. They were just never really publicized, but where you have what appears to be petrified or fossilized giant snakes. I mean, we're talking, and they, there's a whole kind of mythology surrounding snakes and serpents and stuff. But yeah, there's a couple of places in the countryside where you have these caves where you have, and it really, that you can, the scales and the head and everything, it's not like a carving, it's like it's a petrified giant snake. And it's well, there's, like I said, there's a couple.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. You don't really hear about it in any other media. You do hear and see about it on the Thai media. But again, some of these places are kept under wraps quite well, and there's always a temple there. So they have a very spiritual connection. And in fact, I think like everything everywhere else, there's a lot that's just hidden. The modern temples and things like that, they're not. I was talking to my wife about it. It's a lot of it's kind of like, for example, Ayutthaya and places like that. You might have heard of it. It's just kind of like a tourist attraction, But there are other places where, they were building these massive structures, and there's giant mythology, and again, these seem to be remnants of it. There's places where you've got these massive. There's one place I've been to. It's just like this plain, like up in the northeast. It's very flat, but there's this one massive. Hey, who knows if it's one of those old ancient tree stumps or something? Because it just sticks up out of this plain, and that's a thing with these snakes as well. They're in these kind of mountains, which again you could consider would have been ancient trees, giant trees. And of course it's normal for a snake to kind of curl up in the hollow of a tree, right? But this is like on a scale that's 100 times larger than what you would normally see. These stone snakes appear to be, in the bases of these what would have been giant trees. Well, that's it's the kind of thing you got to go and talk to the locals about, and just find out the history.
Are there demons in the folklore? I knew in Nurum, or Myanmar, or whatever that country was you said earlier, they had giant monasteries, huge, that were there because that's where a demon was. Like, this is where they took the demon's left leg.
Okay.
This is defeated this demon this way, or they thwarted a demon, so they would build a giant monastery type temple.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes sense as far as the mythology goes. Well, the idea is that, you see, there's the way of thinking about this realm, is certainly not as a globe, but as a realm where you've got all these other, I suppose, frequencies or realms living, next to each other, and you can. So when people start to kind of play with the relics, or what would you call it, where you've got certain things that carry spirit. They would definitely believe that old things. It could be trees, it could be old artifacts and things. They have a spirit. And so when people start playing with these things or collecting them, or they call it playing with them. When people kind of collect kind of amulets and things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What can happen is if you're going to mess around with this stuff, you've got to be really spiritually clean, because you can easily get deviated, and that's when you get basically possessed by all these spirits that are they're there in this realm, but just in a different kind of frequency, I suppose. So yeah, to them that's common knowledge, that if you mess around with this stuff, whether it's the amulets and these ancient artifacts and stuff, you have to know what you're doing. In fact, I've seen this there's some it's a weird thing where there are certain caves that will give gems. They actually it's like they just come out of the ceiling and they collect these gems. But in order for this to happen, they have this, the monks will go and they'll do chanting for hours and hours, and then only these very kind of spiritual people will be able to go in there, and they'll put a cloth down to catch these they're like gems. I don't know what they've got a special name in Thai, but yeah, they just like different colors. They're like the kind of glass bead style things, and they just drop from the roof of these caves, one by one. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, and I've watched this happen, and it's not a trick. It's really happening. But to invoke this, they have to do this, and it is all about vibration and frequency, right? And I'm sure that's when the Buddhists do their chanting.
Oh yeah,
that is absolutely crazy. And Nick, I hate to interrupt, but we are right at the end of it. So
go for it.
Back time you catch us on, man.
Please, sir, come back. Yes, miss hanging out with you, friend, and especially with all this crazy stuff you're throwing out today, man. I want to see all these things. Y'all take care. Love y'all.
Love you guys. Big shout out to Blue Hulk. Good to see you back in there, feeling much better. Makes me smile. Oh, yeah. We took a moment and gave you some prayers and healing vibes last week, so I'd like to think we had a helping hand in you feeling better. So you guys stick around. We will be back here on Wednesday morning for more of the IRONWORX right here, freeworld.fm, or you can check us out on YouTube if you want to, but you're not going to hear the music clearly. If you want to hear the raw, undistorted version, head on over to freeworld.fm. Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, 4 a.m. Central to 6 a.m. Till then, be good, be well. We love you.